Clemson versus Georgia Tech preview and prediction. Ready to see what Travis Etienne's going to do. That's really for me. I'm excited about Travis the most. Who are you excited about the most on offense?
Yeah, I really want to see the guys that we haven't seen. I really want to see the Joseph Ngatas and Lynn J. Dixon a little more. Obviously, I want to see the backups. I want to see them in, and I want to see them in early. All right, because I think these guys are electric players, and I want to see them get their touches and get their yards for sure. So I'm excited to see the newcomers. Obviously, you're excited to see all the other ones as well. Trevor Lawrence and Justin and T and Etienne and all those guys too.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those ones where if you look at the spread, I mean, it was one of those high spreads. Can Clemson win by more than 37 points? It's kind of scary to say that. I like to go with my heart for sure, but that's a big spread there. I want this year, though, going back to Travis Etienne, I really want this year to be about him making some big monster runs, and then turn around and throw Lynn J. Dixon in there and see him do some big monster runs. Another person I'm really looking forward to on offense is DeAndre Overton. We talked about him all off season. He's going to be in the slot position. A really crazy type player as far as physical build to be in that slot position, and it's going to be exciting to watch what he can do. He's going to be taller than most anybody he goes against. He's not
Yes.
typically supposed to be in that position, but that's what excites me. Those are kind of the two biggest things for me on offense.
Well, I got to tell you this. I know you weren't real keen on this, but I already had this written up before you decided to change it to all Clemson here in this Georgia Tech preview. But we were talking about Georgia Tech. Nobody really knows what to expect from Georgia Tech. We don't know their with their personnel and the new scheme, what they're going to run, who's going to run it. It's going to be kind of crazy. I think they're just going to kind of run people out there and see what works. Maybe on a series by series basis, it's going to kind of be crazy. Do you remember the last time that Clemson faced a Yellow Jacket offense that was not the triple option? You know how long ago that was?
Well, I know that Paul Johnson was in with Georgia Tech for what 11 years, so it had to have been longer than 11 years, right? 10 years.
12 years ago, man, under Chan Gailey. Clemson, by the way, the last time they played that offense, awful night. Okay, Mark Buckholz struggled big time. Okay, Cullen Harper couldn't muster anything on offense. Tigers kicked a field goal on their first drive and then couldn't do anything the rest of the way. Georgia Tech won 13-3. So it was a brutal night for the Tigers. We're hoping the exact opposite happens tomorrow night and the Tigers get out to a huge lead and keep it there.
Yeah, I think that they will get out to a huge lead. How long will the starters play? I think is one thing that everybody's been asking.
Right.
How long until Quack said? How long until we get to see Tyson Pumachan and third stringer there? Tyson is a good player for sure. He's going to have just a few chances to shine when Trevor leaves and DJ comes in. He's going to have that chance to battle DJ in a couple of years. Not right now, but you're going to get to see him shine this year. I think I don't really foresee him getting redshirted since you look at his height and weight, his build, his pocket presence, his ability to scramble, his arm. I mean, some people on YouTube are saying they need to put him as wide receiver. That's not going to work right now. They got too many wide receivers, and he really does have a chance to fight for that starting position. Just because DJ's a five-star doesn't mean he's guaranteed the next starting spot. So I'm excited to see him battle it out. He's already kind of put himself in that third stringer position for sure. I think it's interesting, talking about positions or positions on the depth chart. That Georgia Tech came out with this above the line thing, the ATL thing, where they're not going to tell people who's the starter or whatnot. I mean, okay, I get it. It's just another leadership gimmick. I think that hopefully will work. Maybe it'll work for you. We'll see. But I don't think it's going to really matter in this game at all. One thing that I think that I'm excited for is on the defensive side is DK. This guy came in, was a wide receiver, five-star out of Rock Hill, turns around, notices that it's getting pretty stacked in the wide receiver room. They make a suggestion to put him over in the cornerback position, and he has dominated since then. And him and Sheridan Jones are 1-2 over on their side of the ball. I think that is just, you can't say enough about those two guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. As a matter of fact, you had a bold prediction the other day that Joseph Ngata was going to get a touchdown on a screen pass, I believe, or something like that. And my bold prediction is Derion Kendrick gets a pick six in his first start at corner. So I really want to see this guy. I want to see a lot from the defense. Obviously, I've been talking a lot about the tackles, Pinckney and Williams and Davis and Xavier Kelly, those guys. I get Richard Hoffman gets in and says he's looking forward to seeing which defensive end impresses. There's an embarrassment of riches there for the Tigers, so hopefully the veteran or some of the rookies kind of stand up and get their sacks there, get the pressure on the QB. Whether it's Thomas, Rudolph, Foster, any of those guys, Maskell, Henry. We got a we got a lot of talent there for sure. And the linebackers, of course, you want to see what the linebackers can do. It's a new unit with Skalski, in the middle, and you got Chad Smith there, and of course Isaiah Simmons anchoring it down. So a lot to look forward to tomorrow night. It just cannot get here soon enough.
Man, you had to just go out and say the embarrassment of riches before the show ended out.
Had to do it.
Last week I said that I thought that was being overused last year and the year before then. Here you are starting us off strong. One last note is I assumed Aiden Swanson would be the starter by now. Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like it. He was kind of inconsistent in the spring game. Could kill it, but wasn't very consistent with it. So got a lot of battles going on the defensive side of the ball, on the special teams side of the ball. Dabo Swinney said, hey, that defensive line is not in stone right now. He's going to rotate out a lot, and we'll see what comes up. So let's get down to it and finish up the show. Al, Clemson giving 30, at least what I have right now, you can double check me on this, 36 and a half points right now is what I've got. What do you got?
Well, I got to tell you, I never like to bet against the Tigers in spreads, whether I think, the other team's going to cover or not. 36 and a half is a lot of points. It's opening night. There's a ton of unknowns. Like we said, we're just not sure what to expect out of Georgia Tech. Dabo Swinney's not the type to run up a score. He's not the type to keep his starters in if they're up, a good bit. So I'm going to pick the Tigers 52-17, which means I have Georgia Tech covering with a 36 and a half. I have them winning, Clemson winning by 35. Would I be surprised if Clemson wins by 50? No, absolutely not. But as a matter of fact, I think they should, because I think their backups should come in and be able to score points as well. And maybe that's the way it plays out. But just kind of the first game jitters, maybe a sputtering offense, something like that, kind of a few penalties here and there that stall drives. I'm going to say Georgia Tech covers with 36 and a half.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give you my prediction as well for Clemson. It's been hard for me too. I usually never pick anybody that has more than that's giving more than 30 points. It's just way too high. If you look back, Clemson, how many teams did they actually beat more than 36 points? Not very many teams last year, and they had a really good offense last year, but they have another really good offense this year. And reload in a lot of positions and add a couple of new players in a lot of positions, a lot of key playmaking positions. So I'm not going to start the year off betting against the Tigers. I'm going to go ahead and say that Clemson wins by more than 36 points, or more than 36 and a half points. And so give me Clemson on that. Not something I would normally do, and I might kind of secretively not do it on our Yahoo pick'em. But, to save face in front of everybody, I'm going to go ahead and pick Clemson winning by more than 37 and more into this game Thursday night. No matter how many points they win by, which we all assume that they will win because of the matchup and the talent on both sides of the field, aren't you just glad that we get to watch the Tigers go out on the field tomorrow night?
It's a beautiful thing, my friend. And as a matter of fact, I don't blame you for picking the Tigers there. I hope you're right. This is one I would love to be wrong on. Okay, I want to win every game by 100. So I'm rooting for the Tigers. I'll be there in the Valley tomorrow night, 8 p.m. With my father-in-law. It's going to be a great night. Perfect weather for tomorrow night, from what I've been reading. Low 70s, mid 70s, something like that. No chance of rain. It is going to be an absolutely spectacular start to the season for the Tigers.